The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
It's a gorgeous day here in Meru County, and we are ready to showcase the very best debaters of this region. Welcome to the Great Debaters Contest. My name is Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Yumbok. Today we have Mnara girls going against Munithu girls, and their motion on matters climate change is human activity is primarily responsible for the global climate change. Mariam, do you think they can hack it?
I think they do. Proposer number 1, you have 3 minutes.
Universe cannot be in perfect harmony with every man's ambition. That's why I stand firm to propose the motion that says human activity is primarily responsible for the global climate change. Frida Mokami, Munithu Girls High School. Human invention and scientific ventures will never be complete, free of mistakes. What is important is that overwhelming concerns for global warming remains unchanged. Here is what scientists have found is happening to our climate. Man-made global warming pollution is happening from the sun and increased atmospheric temperatures. This pollutant, especially carbon dioxide, has been increasing rapidly with the growth of burning of charcoal. Burning of charcoal is a human activity. Before I continue, climate change. Climate change, also referred to global warming, refers to the average rise in surface temperatures on Earth. Overwhelming research proves that human activity is responsible for climate change, not better, human activity. The inability to comprehend the planetary influence of human isn't based on reviewing and rejecting the scientific evidence. Evidence which is clear to 98% of climate. Scientists publishing in the field isn't based on ignoring or disbelieving it. This pollutant, as we said earlier, carbon dioxide, caused by the human activities. For example, burning of charcoal. This burning of charcoal, they produce the carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide, it causes the climatic change. We also find out natural gas and forest and temperatures, which happens to be as a result of human activity, has increased over the same period. Almost all the ice covering areas has started to melt and seas rising. Hurricanes predicted the strong winds to grow stronger and make destruction through the number is expected to decrease. Intergovernmental panels on climate change, IPCC, stated in 2014 that greenhouse effect, definitely, it is a human activity, can change in climate. Greenhouses, what does greenhouses produce? Greenhouses produce the gas that is called methane. Methane is a dangerous gas that can affect the climatic changes. It will increase the rise in temperatures, hence causing climatical change. Increasing livestock farming. Farming is a human activity. Biologically, it is known that cows and sheep commonly reared by human produce large amount of methane when they digest food. Then you can ask yourself, can this cause climate change? Yeah, really, it does cause. Thank you.
Thank you. Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your opening statements.
My heartfelt gratitude to the panels of judges. My name is Sumaya Mahmood from Mnara Girls High School, ready to oppose the motion of the day. Human activity is primarily responsible for global climate change. I wanted to start with the quote of the day by Wangari Maathai, which says, "We can love ourselves by loving the earth." Human activity is something that people do or they cause it to happen. Global climate change, this is a type of fluctuation in the statistical distribution of weather. Human activities is not primarily responsible for global climate change because most of the scientists, they do research using computerized climate models such as computers. And these computers, it cannot give the past trends that happened or occurred and during 1,000 years ago. and also cannot predict the future. Like the IPCC, which is International Panel of Climate Change, predicted that Himalayan glaciers will likely melt away by 2035, a prediction they disavowed in 2010. Global warming and cooling are primarily caused by fluctuation in sun's heat, which is solar radiation. Solar irradiance. This is when the radiation of the sun is not diverted in everywhere. Like it's concentrated. The radiation is concentrated in one place. This causes temperature increase. Between 19,000 to 2000, solar irradiance increased by 0.19% and correlated with the rise of US surface temperature over the 20th century. And I want to support this evidence by saying the quote, variations in solar activity, and note the banning of fossil fuels at the direct cause of the observed multi-year varieties in climate response. Increased hurricane activity and other extreme weather events are as a result of natural weather patterns, not human-caused climate change. According to a 2013 report from a tropical meteorology project at Colorado State University that increased human-produced carbon dioxide over the past century has led to or insignificant effect on global climate change. Human-produced carbon dioxide is reabsorbed by the oceans, forests, and other carbon sinks, negotiating any climate change. According to a 2011 study published in the Asia Pacific, the point is carbon dioxide is not primarily produced by the human activity. There are natural causes that produces carbon dioxide.
Thank you. We'll hear rebuttals now, beginning with the proposing team. You have 3 minutes.
From Munithu Girls, this is Lynette Kanana. I'm here to propose this motion that says that human activity is primarily responsible for global climatic change. And to my bright and learned opposers, I'd like to inform you something. That you say that the volcanic eruptions are natural causes of the global climatic change. Well, I'm here to oppose you, as it's well known that large volcanic eruptions, e.g. the Mount Pinatubo in the year 1991, they exerted a short-term cooling effect, and in fact, this was due to since there is the global warming in our climate today, caused by the industrial fumes and the greenhouse emissions, it has led to the increase in temperatures, which are primarily an activity of the humans. Since the greenhouses are, the activities we make in the greenhouses are things like planting crops there, and that leads to the emission of gases like carbon dioxide. So when this leads to the increase in temperature and the volcanoes erupt, this causes the volcanoes not to cool down quickly, and thus the increase in temperature. And therefore, and in fact, if it were not for the human activities, the global climatic changes would not have occurred, and thus the cooling would have slightly occurred over the past 50 years. Since right now, our climate is increasingly in a high temperature, and this will cause skin damage to most of us, the light-skinned. It will lead to skin cancer. Okay, and then in conclusion, God told man to take care of his creation, and not by inventing things that will destroy it. And therefore, I'd like to differ with you that the nature itself does not cause the climatic change, and thus the human activities cause the global climatic changes. Thank you.
Mnara Girls, you have 3 minutes for your rebuttal.
Hafsa Usman, Mnara Girls High School. Sea levels have been steadily rising for thousands of years. and the increase has nothing to do with human activity. Rather, it is caused by the melting of glaciers and the moon tides, of which it's a natural phenomenon. A report in 2014 by the Global Warming Policy Foundation found that a slow global sea level rise has been ongoing for the last 10,000 years. The IPCC, that is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, predicted that Himalayan glaciers will likely melt away by 2035, a prediction they dissolved in 2010. Going back to the sea levels, increase in the sea levels, which primarily even cause floods, a great example of a country which faced a drastic flood is Alaska in 2005, where thousands of people died and billions and trillions of property was damaged. Rising levels of carbon dioxide from human activity do not necessarily cause global climate change, which contradicts the notion that human activity is primarily responsible for global climate change. According to 2003 study in Science, measurements of ice core samples show that periods of natural global warming preceded global increase in carbon dioxide. In 2010, the proceedings of the National Academy of the Earth's Climate, which found that an intense period of glaciation, not warming, when carbon dioxide was 5 times higher than it is today. Why then was there not global warming in the past years when carbon dioxide was 5 times more than it is today in the atmosphere?
Thank you very much to the audience for those questions. The proposers have been asked to give a remedy for climate or for the causes of climate change that are human, that are based on human activities. And the opposition have been asked how glaciation in the Himalayas, for example, causes climate change. We'll have them respond now. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
From Munithu Girls, I'm Matilda Kawira. To deal with human activities that cause climatic change or global climatic change, for the industries can treat the emissions the gases before they emit them in the air. For the cars, the emissions that come from the cars, they can use unleaded petrol. And for the act of deforestation, people cut down trees for charcoal, for creating furniture and all that kind of stuff. So for deforestation, it's good that it's a matter of human activity. When the trees are cut down, they should enhance reforestation. If a tree is cut down, a person should plant another tree to stand for the tree that is cut down. So it's a matter of reforestation, using unleaded petrol, and the industry is treating their gases before the emissions.
Thank you very much. Mnara Girls, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
I am Kaltuma Abdi from Mnara Girls High School, and I'm here to oppose the motion that says human activity is primarily responsible for climate change. First of all, I would like to begin with answering the question. Donna, you asked, how does glaciation affect global climate change? You know glaciation in the first place. When glaciation happens, before it happens, there is that increase in temperature. When it happens, there will be a lot of water. Then the volume of the level of the sea rises. When this water overflows to the land, they decrease the land that trees are supposed to be growing on. They decrease the amount of land that trees are supposed to be planted on. Therefore, and when there is decrease in the number of trees that are on Earth, it changes the climate. The Earth's climate has always warmed and cooled in the 20th century. Rise in global temperature is within the bounds of natural temperature fluctuation over the past 3,000 years. And for instance, a 2005 study published in Nature found high temperatures similar to those observed in the 20th century before 1990.
occurred at around 1000 AD in the northern hemisphere. This means that global climatic change, it used to happen before. It's not because of human activities that are recent. It used to happen even in 1000 AD. It's not something that has just started right now. Thank you.
Okay, we're ready for final submissions. Munithu girls, you have 1 minute.
Okay, someone mentioned about a point, complaining about the methane. Right, I do agree with you. Methane, yeah, it produces fuel, but not naturally. Yeah, yes, it produces fuel, but it is out of human activity affecting climate. But where does this 90% come from of the methane? It comes from the human activity. Burning of the charcoals and also the burning of the fuels, it's the one that is causing 90%, not better, 90% of the climate change. You ought to be kind of supporting us when you say that methane is produced, but how? That's where I came to explain that methane is produced out of the human activities. In the 19th century, everybody can bear with me witness that in the 19th century, human activities were involved. So you ought to be kind of supporting us. Thank you.
Mnara girls, you have a minute as well.
The point is, methane is not just produced by human activity. Get that right, my dear. Methane can be produced by waste products of the animals when there's increase in population. Water vapor, before that, let's get this right. This is not a motion to debate about. We are just contradicting ourselves. It's very clear that water vapor is the dominant greenhouse gas, making up 97 to 98% of the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Other gases make up just only 2 to 3%, and share of the carbon dioxide produced by human activity is just but a mere fraction of that percentage. On 1st June 2017, US President Donald Trump announced that the US will cease all participation in the 2015 Paris Agreement on climate change because he does not believe human activities to be blamed for climate change. Imagine it is the most powerful country that is withdrawing. What about us? Join us and say that human activity is not responsible for climate change.
Munithu girls, thank you so much for proposing this very important debate. So Frida, thank you for giving us some really good facts. I was happy to hear that you understand what kind of human activities are causing climate change. Although I'd like you to look up a little bit more and do less reading. Okay, so you need to master your content a little bit more so that when you speak, you can speak a little bit from the heart and less from the paper, right? Okay. Kanana, very good rebuttal on volcanic eruption causing cooling effect as opposed to causing a warming effect. That was pretty smart of you. Matilda, so I think when you were answering the questions, you went into giving us the solutions to climate change, which is great, but I would still like you to still come back to what motion you are proposing. Okay, and it was all about what are humans doing in causing climate change as opposed to going into the solutions of climate change. So I felt like you deviated a little bit from what you're supposed to be speaking about.
So to Mnara, Sumaya, that was a good start as well, definition of terms, and that goes as well to Frida, definition of terms. First submission, when you talk about solar radiation and the natural causes, name them when you talk about volcanic activity and the rest. Hafsa, good submissions. I don't know whether you're waiting for the bell at some point. I felt like you're waiting, so you want to at least have a flow of thought so that you avoid the breaks in between, so that we can tell that at least you've mastered your topic very well. Better performance as well. Kaltuma, I think you stand out. That was good. The only thing that you need to do, you spoke for 2 minutes, so we were left with 1 minute. So you wanted to utilize your time well. At least you could have at least added more points for your team. Remember that we have ocean atmospheric exchange. We're exchanging here the ideas, and that actually is a big contributor to carbon dioxide as well. Plant and animal respiration, soil respiration as well, volcanic activity. So there were many examples you could have given us. But to both of you, all the best.
Munithu girls, the judges awarded you 61%. Please give them a round of applause. Mnara girls, the judges saw it fit to award you 64%. You're our winners for the debate.
Congratulations to Mnara girls, and of course a job well done to Munithu girls as well. That was a wonderful debate. Thank you to our audience in studio as well, and those of you at home for watching. Remember to give us your feedback. Our hashtag is GDC4SDGs. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyumbok. Catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.